and welcome to another exciting edition of NAERLS Smart Farmers Corner, brought to you by the S3 SARG under the NAERLS, FARA, AFAS, SAA, C for Seas Soil Health Series in partnership with Zaria Fertilizers, your partner in productive farming. My name is Juliana Meriga, and I'm delighted to be with you once again. Every week, we bring practical farming knowledge from research stations and experienced farmers directly to your homes and fields, helping you make better decisions for higher yields and improved livelihood. Today's program is titled Every Seed Counts. Have you ever stood before a seed seller wondering which seeds to buy? Should you buy the cheapest seed? Should you spend more on improved varieties? Or should you save your own seeds from the previous harvest? Many farmers believe that the most expensive seed always produces the best harvest. But is that really true? Today, we'll find out. With me in the studio is our specialist, the soil doctor, Professor Sani Isiaku, and our experienced farmers, our lead female farmer, Asebe, our lead male farmer, Musa, and our energetic youth farmer, Denjuma. Remember our motto: understand the soil, feed the soil, sustain the harvest, and secure the future. You are all welcome.
Thank you, Juliana.
Starting with our farmers here, tell us your experience regarding seed selection. Denjuma.
I just bought some maize seeds. The bag was much more expensive than the others. The seller said it's the best.
What of you, Musa?
That is what every seller says. But tell me, is your farm ready for that seed?
What do you mean? Good seed is good seed, isn't it?
What of you, Asabi?
Not always, Danjuma. A good seed planted in poor soil may disappoint you.
Really? I thought once you buy improved seed, you are sure to have a bumper harvest.
I used to think exactly the same. 1 year, I spent almost all my savings buying expensive seed. Unfortunately, my soil was tired. I couldn't apply enough nutrients, and the rain stopped early. The harvest was far below my expectations.
So the problem was not the seed?
No, the seed had good potential. My farm condition couldn't support it.
That is why farmers must choose seed carefully. Some varieties perform better under certain conditions than others.
Topa, then how do I know which seed is right for me?
Enjuma has raised an important question that needs answer, which I know that other farmers at home are waiting for the answers. That brings us to the soil doctor. Why is today's topic so important?
Okay, I will advise the farmer before you grow any crop, you should know one important decision about the seed you select. That decision is very important because many people think seed is just seed, but that is not true. Different seeds have different abilities. Some mature earlier, some produce higher yields, while some resist diseases better, some tolerate drought better. Others perform well when they are planted on fertile and properly managed soils. Look at farming as a business. Once it is a business, you need to select the right seed because the wrong seed can affect your yield and your profit.
So buying seed is actually an investment?
Exactly. And like every other investment, it should be based on information, not on mere assumptions.
Asebe, what do you usually consider before buying seeds?
The first thing I consider is my farm, not the market, not my neighbor, my own farm. I ask myself, how fertile is my soil? How much rainfall do we usually receive? Can I afford fertilizer if needed? Can I manage improved varieties properly? Only after answering these questions do I choose my seed.
That's interesting. Many farmers simply buy whatever everyone else is buying.
And sometimes they regret it too. A seed that performs well on someone else's farm may not perform the same way on yours.
Let's imagine we are standing in a village market. Before us are 3 bags of maize seed. The first seed is a local variety. The second is an improved variety. The third is a hybrid variety. Each has a different price. Danjuma, which one would you choose?
Honestly, I will probably choose the most expensive one. I will assume it's the best.
Musa, what do you think?
That's exactly how many farmers think, but I learned the hard way. Expensive does not always mean better. Years ago, hybrid seed, because everyone said it produced very high yields. Unfortunately, my soil had very little organic matter. The rains were not consistent, and I couldn't apply enough fertilizer. Sadly, the harvest was disappointing.
So, the problem wasn't the seed?
Probably.
Today's statement is, the most expensive seed always gives the highest harvest. Prof, is that true?
That is not completely true. Expensive seeds does not automatically guarantee higher yields. For improved seeds or hybrid to reach their full potential, farmers must also provide the right conditions. These include healthy soil, adequate moisture, and good agronomical practices, which include spacing, timely weed control, appropriate nutrient management, and without these practices, the extra money spent on expensive seed may not produce the better returns.
I've experienced that myself. Good seed planted in poor soil often performs no better than ordinary seed. But when good seed is planted in healthy and very fertile soil and even managed properly, the difference becomes very clear.
That is right. Farmers should remember this simple principle. Match the seed to your situation, not your situation to the seed.
That's an important lesson. So, today's program is not about buying the most expensive seed. It's about buying the right seed for your farm. Prof, many farmers ask a simple question. If I have money today, should I buy the best seed available?
Not necessarily. The first question should never be which seed is the best. Instead, ask which seed is best for my farm. Every farmer's situation is different. Your soil may be fertile while your neighbor's soil is poor. Your rainfall may be reliable while another community experiences frequent dry spells. One farmer may have enough labor and fertilizer while another has limited resources. So these differences affect how well a variety performs.
So is choosing seed really about matching it to your farming conditions?
Exactly. Good farming is about making informed decisions. Seed should match your soil fertility, your initial rainfall pattern, your management practices, your available resources, and the length of your growing season. When these factors are considered together, the chances of a successful harvest increase significantly.
Asebe, how has this worked on your farm?
Several years ago, I believed improved seed alone will solve all my problems. So I bought improved maize seed for my entire farm. Unfortunately, my soil had become tired after years of continuous cultivation. Although the seed germinated well, but the crop never reached its full potential. That experience taught me an important lesson. Good seed cannot compensate for poor soil. Now, I first assess the condition of my land before deciding which seed to plant.
Musa, your experience is slightly different from Asebe.
Yes, I couldn't afford improved seed for all my fields. So instead of planting one variety everywhere, I divided my farm. On my best field, I planted improved seed. On another field, I planted local seed. As I gradually improved my soil fertility over the years, I increased the area planted with improved varieties. That approach reduced my risks and helped me learn which varieties perform best under my own conditions.
Prof, Musa mentioned reducing risk. Is that something farmers should deliberately plan for?
Very much so. Agriculture always involves some uncertainty. Rainfall may change, pests may appear, and markets may fluctuate. One practical way to manage risk is to avoid relying entirely on one seed type, especially when trying a new variety for the first time. Testing improved seed on a smaller area allows farmers to compare its performance with local varieties before expanding production. This is a practical and evidence-based approach.
So if I have good soil and enough money, should I plant improved seed everywhere?
Not immediately. Even under good conditions, it is wise to test a variety on a part of your land first. Observe how it performs, compare its yield, pest resistance, maturity period, and grain quality with what you already grow. Once you are satisfied, you can gradually increase the area planted.
And that is exactly what I do. Every season, I learn something new. Some varieties produce higher yields, some mature earlier, others withstand drought better. But testing them side by side, I know which one truly suits my farm.
That means farmers should become observers as well as producers.
Absolutely. Successful farmers are always learning. They don't rely on rumors or advertisements alone. They observe, they compare, they keep simple records. Then they use their information to make better decisions next season.
Now that we have established the importance of matching seed to the farm, let's help our farmers with something practical. Prof, if I walk into a seed shop tomorrow, what question should I ask for making a purchase?
Every farmer should ask 4 important questions. These 4 questions can prevent costly mistakes. Question 1. How long does the variety take to mature? Different varieties mature at different times. Some maize varieties mature in about 80 to 90 days. Others require about 100 to 120 days. If your area has a short rain season, selecting an early maturing variety may reduce the risk of drought affecting your grain filling. Always choose a variety whose maturity period matches your local growing season. Question 2. Has the variety been tested in my area? Always ask whether the variety has performed well under conditions similar to yours. Extension agents, research institutes, and reputable seed companies can provide this information. A variety that performs well in one agroecological zone may not perform the same elsewhere due to differences in rainfall and soil conditions. Question 3. Is the variety resistant to common diseases? Very important. Disease-resistant varieties help reduce losses and often lower production costs. Farmers should seek advice from extension officers on varieties that can tolerate the major diseases that are common in their locality. 4th question. Will the investment give me a good return?
Aha! This is probably the question every farmer asks.
Exactly. Don't focus only on the purchase price. Consider the likely harvest. Sometimes a slightly more expensive improved variety provides higher yields and better profits. In other situations, a well-selected local variety may provide a better return because it performs reliably under local conditions. The goal is not simply to spend less or spend more, but to invest wisely.
I have learned that the cheapest seed is not always the most economical, and the most expensive seed is not always the most profitable. Profit depends on how well the variety matches the farm.
And that is why I always remind other farmers, choose the seed that fits your farm, not the one attracting the biggest crowd at the markets.
Wonderful advice. Coming up after the break, we will show you simple ways to test seed quality before planting. You may already have good seeds in your home without knowing it. Stay with us. Welcome back to NAERLS Smart Farmers Corner. Today's program, every seed counts, and we have learned that choosing the right seed is much more than just the price. But before planting any seed, how do we know whether it is actually quality? Prof, can an ordinary farmer check seed quality at home?
Yes, farmers do not always need sophisticated equipment to identify quality seed. There are a few simple checks they can carry out before planting. These simple observations can help reduce poor germination and improve crop establishment.
Prof, could you demonstrate the simple checks farmers can carry out before planting?
Okay, the farmer should begin with the size. Good quality seeds is usually well filled and uniform in size. Very small and or shriveled seeds often contain less food reserve for the young seedling. They may germinate poorly or produce weak plants.
What comes next?
The farmer should observe the color. Healthy seeds should have the normal color of that variety. Discolored seeds, moldy seeds, or seeds with unusual spots may have been damaged by diseases, insects, or poor storage.
I also inspect every handful for cracks and insect holes. Sometimes we are in a hurry to plant and forget that damaged seed rarely produce vigorous crops. Removing damaged seed before planting saves the disappointment later.
So, a few minutes spent sorting seeds can make a big difference?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Finally, hold the seed in your hand. Good seed often feels heavier because it is well filled. Lightweight seeds may be empty or poorly developed. These are simple observations, but they can help farmers make better planting decisions.
Prof, can we use the floating test to ascertain the quality of seeds?
Yeah, that one is also a very simple means when used correctly. It is a useful preliminary test. Take a small sample of seed, pour clean water into a container, place the seeds in the water and allow them to remain for about 1 minute. Generally, well-filled seeds tend to sink, while many empty or poorly filled seeds float. However, farmers should remember that the float test is only one indicator. It does not replace buying certified seed or conducting a proper germination test.
So if many of my seeds float, what should I do?
Separate the floating seeds and inspect them carefully. If most of your seed performs poorly during the test, consider replacing it with better quality seed before planting. Poor seed usually leads to poor crop establishment.
I learned this lesson the hard way. Several years ago, I planted seed without checking first. Many failed to germinate. I had to buy more seed and replant. Since then, I always test a sample before planting my entire field. It saves money and time.
A simple test today can prevent major losses tomorrow. Asebe, many women farmers have traditionally selected and stored seed from one season to another. Can you tell us how this is done?
Certainly. Seed saving begins long before harvest. During the growing season, I walk through my field regularly. I identify plants that remain healthy, produce good crops, and tolerate dry spells or pests better than the others. Those plants are marked with a strips of cloth. At harvest, I collect seed only from those selected points.
So you don't simply save seed from any plant?
No, I don't. If you save seed from weak or diseased plants, you carry those problems into the next season. Always select seed from your best performing plants. After harvesting, I dry the seed properly in the shade. Direct sunlight for long periods can reduce seed viability. When the seed is dry, I store it in a clean, dry, airtight containers and keep it in a cool place until the next planting season.
Prof, is this similar to what researchers recommend?
Indeed, it is. What Asebe is practicing is known as farmer selection. For generations, farmers have improved their local seed by observing, selecting and saving seeds from superior plants. Modern plant breeders use the same basic principle, although with more advanced scientific methods. This allows that indigenous knowledge and modern science can complement each other.
On my farm, I combine both approaches. I save seed from my best local varieties, but I also test improved varieties on a small area every season. That way, I continue learning while reducing my production risk.
Once a farmer has selected good quality seed, is it ready for planting?
That is not always. In many cases, seed treatment is recommended before you planting to protect seeds and young seedlings from soil-borne pests and diseases. Certified seed treatment products have been tested for their effectiveness and should be used according to the manufacturer's instructions. Farmers should always seek guidance from extension officers or agro-input specialists before using these products.
Asebe, some farmers still use traditional methods. What has been your experience?
Many communities have long used clean wood ash and certain plant materials to protect stored seed. These traditional methods form part of our farming heritage. However, their effectiveness varies depending on the crop, storage conditions, and the disease involved. Where serious seed-borne diseases are common, I follow the advice of extension officers and use recommended certified seed treatment products.
That is the correct approach. Traditional knowledge should be respected, but farmers should also use scientifically proven technologies where they offer better protection. The most important thing is to make informed decisions based on local recommendations.
Prof, could you summarize the key steps before planting?
The 4 key points that every farmer should remember before planting are: select good quality seed, check the seed before planting, treat the seed where necessary, and follow the advice of extension personnel. Those simple steps can help establish a healthy crop from the very beginning.
Coming up next, we'll open our phone lines for our listeners' call. Don't go away. Welcome back to NAERLS Smart Farmers Corner. It is now time for our listeners' phone-in segment, where we answer questions from farmers across the country. We have a caller on the line. Welcome to the program. Please introduce yourself and tell us where you're calling from.
Thank you. My name is Zainab and I'm calling from Dusima. My question is this. I only have enough money to buy local maize seed this season. Some people say local seed is a waste of time and that only improved or hybrid seed can give a good harvest. Please, I want to ask, is that true? What should I do?
Thank you for the important question. Prof, over to you.
Thank you, Zainab. The answer is no. Never feel pressured to borrow money simply because someone says expensive seed is better. Remember today's principle. The best seed is not necessarily the most expensive seed. It is the seed that best matches your farming conditions and available resources. If you have healthy soil, use good farming practices and properly manage your crop, a good local variety can still produce an excellent harvest.
I agree. Many of us build successful farms using local seed. What matters is selecting healthy seed, planting at the right time, and managing the crop well. As your farm improves over time, you can gradually begin testing improved varieties.
That's exactly how I started. I didn't change everything in one season. I improved my soil first, then I tested improved varieties on a small section of my land. As I gained confidence, I expanded gradually. That approach reduced my financial risk.
Thank you, Zainab. I hope that helps.
That really helps. I feel better. Thank you so much.
Let's take another call. Hello, you're welcome to NAERLS Smart Farmers Corner. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hello, my name is Garba and I'm calling from Kauru local government. I want to know whether I should plant hybrid maize on my entire farm this year. The dealer says it produces the highest yield. Should I replace all my local seed immediately?
Excellent question. Prof, over to you.
Malam Garba, my advice is simple. Test before you invest heavily. If this is your first time planting that hybrid, don't plant your entire farm with it. Instead, establish a comparison. Plant the hybrid on a small section, plant your usual variety on another section. Give both plants the same management. At harvest, compare germination, plant vigor, pest and disease incidence, maturity period, grain quality, and finally the yield. Then use those observations to guide next season's decision.
Prof, is that what researchers also do?
Exactly, Danjuma. Researchers compare varieties under the same conditions before recommending them. Farmers can use the same principle on a smaller scale. Observe, compare, learn, then make informed decisions.
Every season, I reserve a small area of my farm for learning. Sometimes, the new varieties perform better. Sometimes, my local variety still does well. Either way, I gain valuable information.
Thank you, Garba. Your question has probably helped many farmers listening today.
Thank you very much.
Garba, I hope this answers your question.
Yes, it does. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for calling. Now that we have discussed about seed selection, the next question is, how should we plant it? Prof, does planting depth really matter?
Yeah, it really matters. Even the best quality seed can fail if planted incorrectly. For maize, seeds should generally be planted at a depth of 3 to 5 centimeters. If planted too shallow, birds may likely pick the seeds, or if it may dry before germinating. If planted too deep, emergence becomes slow and uneven because the young seedling uses too much energy trying to reach the soil surface.
And what about spacing?
For maize under normal conditions, the recommended spacing is approximately 75 centimeters between rows and 25 centimeters between plants. This spacing helps achieve an appropriate plant population while reducing unnecessary competition for sunlight, water, and nutrients.
I use a simple measuring stick. Before planting, I mark 25 centimeters on the stick. As I move across the field, I use that mark to maintain uniform spacing. It saves time and improves crop establishment.
Prof, why can't farmers simply plant closer together? Wouldn't more plants give more grain?
That is a common mistake made by some farmers. When plants are too close together, they compete for the same water, nutrients, and sunlight. As competition increases, each plant produces smaller crops. On the other hand, planting too far apart leaves unused space. The recommended spacing provides a good balance between plant population and and crop performance.
Uniform spacing also makes weeding, fertilizer application and field inspection much easier. When plants are arranged properly, farm operations become more efficient.
That's an important point. Contribute directly higher yield. Prof, earlier you encouraged farmers to establish comparison plots. Can you explain how listeners can do that on their farms?
Certainly. Choose 2 small plots of our land of similar size. Manage them the same way. On one plot, plant the variety you normally grow. On the other plot, plant the new variety you want to evaluate. Throughout the season, observe which plot germinates first, which plants remain healthier, which flowers earlier, and which suffers less from pests and diseases, and then which produces higher yields. Simple observations like this help farmers to make decisions based on evidence rather than rumors.
Is it so important for farmers to write these observations down?
Yes, it's very important. A small notebook is enough. Record dates and simple observations. This records become valuable references when planning the next season.
That's exactly what I do. Every season teaches me something. Because I keep notes, I don't rely on memory alone. I can clearly see which varieties consistently perform well on my farm.
Thank you, Prof. and Asevi. That's a practical advice every farmer can apply. Coming up next, we'll visit the Soil Doctor's Clinic, where Prof answers more practical questions sent in by farmers before we conclude today's program. Welcome to the Soil Doctor's Clinic, where we answer some of the questions sent in by our listeners. Prof, are you ready?
I'm always ready. Juliana, let's hear the first question.
Our first question comes from Amina in Kaduna. She asks, I cannot afford improved seed this season. Can I still expect a good harvest?
Yes, of course, Amina. Never think that a good harvest depends only on buying expensive seed. Good quality seed planted on fertile soil at the right time with good management can produce excellent yields. Remember, seed is only one part of the production system. Healthy soil and proper crop management are equally important.
Many farmers become discouraged because they compare themselves with others. My advice is simple. Start with what you have. Manage it well. Improve your soil every season. As your resources improve, you can gradually introduce improved varieties.
Our second question comes from Ibrahim in Kano. He asks, last year, many of my saved seeds failed to germinate. What would have caused this?
Several factors can be responsible for seed germination. The seed may have been harvested from weak plants. It may have absorbed moisture during storage, attacked by storage insect pests or diseases, or it may simply have been too old. This is why farmers should always select seed from healthy plants. Dry seeds properly before storage. Store seed in a cool, dry place and test a small sample before planting the entire farm.
That small test can save a farmer from replanting an entire farm. I have experienced that myself. Now, I never plant without checking my seed first.
Our final question comes from Fatima in Niger State. She asks, if hybrid seed costs 3 times more than local seed, will it produce 3 times more gain?
Not necessarily, Fatima. Hybrid seed often has higher yield potential, but that potential is only achieved when the crop receives proper management. Yield depends on many factors working together. This includes soil fertility, adequate rainfall or irrigation, proper spacing, timely weeding, good nutrient management, and effective pest and disease control. If these conditions are not met, the additional investment may not produce the expected returns, and that is why farmers should always consider their profit, not just the price.
Thank you, Prof. Those are very useful answers. Before we move to this week's challenge, let's quickly recap what we have learned today. Every successful harvest begins with choosing the right seed. We have learned that the best seed is not always the most expensive one, but the one that matches your soil, climate, available resources, and management. Also remember the 4 important questions before seed. Buying seeds. How long does it take to mature? Has it performed well in my area? Is it resistant to common diseases? Will it give me a good return on my investment? Now it's time for this week's challenge. Aisha, our soil detective, what will you like our listeners to do before next week's program?
This week, I encourage every farmer listening to complete these simple activities. First, inspect the seed you intend to plant. Remove damaged, cracked, or insect-infested seed. Second, carry out a simple seed quality check, including the float test where appropriate. Third, if you're buying seeds, ask the dealer or extension agent these 4 questions. How long does it take to mature? Has it been tested in my area? Is it resistant to common diseases? Will it provide a good return under my farming conditions? Fourth, prepare your field properly. Measure your spacing before planting. For maize, remember the recommended spacing of 75 centimeters between rows and 25 centimeters between plants, with a planting depth of 3 to 5 centimeters. Finally, if possible, establish a small comparison plot so that you can observe how different varieties perform under the same condition.
Thank you, Aisha, for the soil challenge of this week. To our farmers, are we taking up the challenge?
I'm definitely going to try the comparison plot this season. I want to see the difference with my own eyes.
And don't forget to keep simple notes. The farm teaches us something every season, but only those who observe carefully continue to improve.
Next week, we will learn one of the easiest and most affordable way to improve soil fertility using materials already available on your farm. Join us for composting, turning farm waste into black gold. You will learn how crop residues, animal manure, and household organic waste can be transformed into nutrient-rich compost that improves soil health, conserves moisture, and support better crop health. You won't want to miss it. And so, we have come to the end of today's edition of NAERLS Smart Farmers Corner, brought to you by Zaria Fertilizers, your partner in productive farming, in collaboration with NAERLS S3A SRG under the C4C Soil Health Series. For Zaria Fertilizers enquiries, call 080-3715-4428. Remember, understand the soil, feed the soil, sustain the harvest, and secure the future. Join us again next week for another very interesting topic. Noma the Hikima, Girbi the Yelwa, farm with wisdom, harvest with abundance. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to the NAERLS Farming Smart channel. Sema Komezua. Until next week, I am Juliana Meriga. On behalf of the entire production crew, it's bye for now.